Hey guys, it's Justina from Magpie and Mockingbird, and we are going to make a gardening journal today. The pockets are the perfect size for seed packets. You could also use it though to hold pictures of your garden, empty seed packets, up to you. So it's got a simple ribbon tie closure. You can see the beautiful black and white flowers on the front, a green spine, and the vines on the back. Inside I stuck to mostly neutrals, browns, and then some greens. And we have writing spaces on the pockets. We have little pages for journaling. We have these two tabs that move. These are the perfect size for seed packets. But I also put tags in here to journal, include pictures, whatever you like to do, but a seed packet will fit in there. And this has the same idea where it's a decorated front and then plenty of writing space inside. And this just slips back into the pocket. On the back is another pocket, well, two more pockets. These are clear pockets from Target, actually. Right now they're just housing a simple paper to journal on, but these can also fit seed packets. So you could do two more seed packets if you'd like. I have a side pocket over here with more journaling spaces. This is a nice deep pocket to hold this little pull out. Lots of space to journal here. And you could leave the butterfly portion on top. You could leave that hanging out, but I like its look when it's tucked in like that. More tuck spots in the side for more journaling opportunities here. Then over here, there are three more journaling spots. There's a spot here to label the pocket. This opens up and there is a paper clip so that this is easily removable. I did that because I wanted to keep this flat. There's a sewed-in tea paper journal right here, all these pages, and so I wanted it to be nice and flat to be able to journal on. And I did tea dye. It was tea or coffee, guys, I can't remember. I think it was tea. And then over here is another pocket with more writing spaces, and you see some decorative washi tape. And then this closes and flips open, and here is a final pocket, more writing pages. Here is a clear pocket that's holding a little journaling card. This is a spot to write, and this is a little tuck spot for some small journaling ephemera. And then again with some decorative washi. So today in the tutorial, we will be making this. Heads up, I tried to plan ahead by labeling the measurements on everything. That being said, I accidentally, these things are on hinges. I measure this as 8 inches, it's 8.5 inches. So some of the measurements were wrong. I have corrected them, but I need you to pay attention so that you're not cutting out the wrong size and getting frustrated. All right, guys, let's dive in. I'm going to start off by going through all the materials that you will need to go through the base. So if you do not want to hear this and all the measurements, just fast forward to when we start crafting together. But if you're the kind of person that likes to have everything, you know, cut out and prepped and ready to go so that you can just follow along and craft with me at the same time, then here you go. So we are going to start with chipboard. Now my chipboard is thin for some reason, so I also have cardstock. So if you do not have chipboard, use a 110-pound cardstock. It will work just as good. All right, so 5.5 by 8.5. We need 2 pieces, and this is the front cover, back cover, and then the spine is 1.5 inches. Oh man, it's like I time these videos with my cat's food dispenser. It's 1.5 inches by 8.5 inches. Okay, so that's what you need for the cover. Then we are going to wrap it. I am wrapping mine in all like neutral browns with like touches of green. So I am wrapping it with 2 pieces of 7.5 by 10.5. And then the spine I'm wrapping with a 4.5 by 10.5. All right, then we are going to need to make like an accordion fold for the inside, and that will be a 5 by 8 piece. This is 65-pound cardstock. I wanted it to have some strength to it, but I find 110 is just too much. Okay, then the inside pages. So I am going to line the inside pages with this 110-pound cardstock just to give the cover more strength. And so you will need 2 5.25 by 8.25 pieces. And then these are going to be the tabs when we open up the journal. Now you can make 3 of these. So they're 8 by 10, scored in the middle, okay? And you can just make 3 of these. I am going to shake things up a little bit because I also want to make these tabs, which looking at them now, I see I did the math wrong. So yeah, definitely don't listen to me yet. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to make tabs that open like this, because my thought was it can hold the C packets, but these are too big. So this 4 3/4 too big. We'll fix it though as we start crafting. All right, guys, let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is wrap our chipboard. So to do this, we're going to need all these pieces, okay? The 5.5 by 8.5 chipboard, 2 pieces. 1.5 by 8.5 for the spine, 1 piece. 7.5 by 10.5 to wrap on top of the front and back cover, 2 pieces. 4.5 by 10.5 to wrap the spine. All right, and I will be using, I sadly bent this. I'm going to be using my Barely Art glue. For most things I say like, oh, it's no big deal, use what you have. When it comes to glue, guys, you gotta spend the money. You gotta get the good quality if you want the good results. Okay, so this paper has like a waxy feel on the back, so I'm going to use that to glue down. And so basically I'm going to center my chipboard, glue it down, miter the corners, fold it down. All right, here we go. All right, I'm using my scoring knife to make sure it's nice and pushed down. Okay, check the front, make sure there's nothing atrocious happening. Looks fine. Okay, so now I'm going to use this chipboard to fold it on itself. All right, and then use my scoring knife to really press down. We want these nice lines. It will make the wrapping easier. Okay, so I have folded these, and let me see if I can bring it up. You can see where they intersect at each corner. So you have a couple choices. You can eyeball this, or you can use a kit. There's this fairly cheap kit on Amazon. I'll link it below. I got this kit for this piece because I wanted 90-degree angles. If you can see though, it's bent, not 90 degrees. So I would not call this high quality. However, yeah, in this, However, 2 pieces that you could use are these 2, okay? If you're new to mitering corners, that's when you snip off the extra, this is actually very helpful. And what you do is you line it up right here and then you cut straight across. Okay, as a beginner, great tool. Then this piece is also good because if you're trying to glue down like the cover, the spine, this gives you an exact space to put in between. However, we're going to be gluing it a little bit differently today, so we don't need that piece. I will use this piece though to show you just how simple it is and how uniform your cuts will be. So I just line it up to the corner and cut across. All right, and I'm gonna go through and do this for every corner. Okay. And if you're not new to this, of course, fast forward this part, you know how to wrap. All right, so now we have the same exact amount on each side. And what I do is I start with parallel sides, glue it down, then I do the other sides, glue it down. Now, if this was, yeah, see how this is sticking up a bit? You can trim it, you can go in with your fingernail and just fold it in so it doesn't do that, and then fold it down. Okay, it's like wrapping a gift. Where it's no big deal for these corners, it's a big deal with paper crafting because you don't want bulk here. It doesn't look good, doesn't flow well. All right, let's glue it down. And so now we have wrapped our chipboard. I'm going to do the same exact thing now with the other piece. But we're going to wrap the spine differently. So with this, you know, we wrapped all four sides. With the spine, we are only going to wrap the bottom and the top, and we are going to use these sides to attach to the cover, okay? So don't glue this part down yet. Here we go. All right, we're going to fold it just like the others. Okay, and we still need to miter. See, it will look different. Okay. So like I said, we are only doing the top and the bottom right now, okay? Okay. So now we are going to attach the spine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up just like this, put glue here, and then push it down here. Okay? So yes, this will still be exposed, but we're going to cover this, so don't worry about it. All right, so line it up corner to corner. And then once it's lined up, push it down. Okay, check it. All right, looks good. So now we are going to do the same thing, but on this side. All right, so we have the base complete. So we have the spine, the covers, everything wrapped, okay? And we will work next on making, I don't know what's called, the accordion fold to hold our pages, and reinforcing this with cardstock. Okay, let's keep going. So next you will need a 5x8 piece of paper, and you will need to score it every 1/2 inch. All right, and then we're going to make peaks with these. Let me show you what I mean by that. So we need somewhere to attach our pages. So we're going to go through and make 3 peaks and attach this down like this, and then attach our pages here, okay? So you're going to score it every 1/2 inch and then go through and fold right on those lines to make this really pliable to work with. Now, 9 times out of 10, I love my glue. This is one of the times I like my double-sided tape. So I'm going to leave this one alone, okay? Because this one is going to attach itself to the book. So I need this to stick together, these two to stick together. So I'm going to take my double-sided tape and I am going to put it along this so that I can make that peak. And let me show you what I mean. All right, I'm going to pull off the backing and I'm going to stick this to this. All right, and just like that, I now have my peak, my flap I can attach things to. All right, so you have to leave a space in between them. I screwed up a journal where I didn't leave the space. It's still doable, but you don't have nearly as much room to work with. Okay, so I'm going to skip this, and these two are going to fold together. So I need to put my double-sided tape down. Okay, skip this and this and do my double-sided tape. So if you're counting, it's every 3. Skipping the first and the last. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you can see this. I know this is white on white. This is not ideal. All right, so I'm going to peel off the backing to my double-sided tape and fold that down and peel off the back side here, and fold that down. Let me know in the comments if you want me to explain this a different way. I feel like I did not do a very good job explaining that. Okay, so when I flip it over, all right, I have these two pieces that I'm going to use to glue down. And then I have these 3 flaps that I'm going to use to attach my pages. All right, so now I'm going to just glue all of this and attach it down. Here we go. All right, so you're going to try to center this the best that you can, making sure that these 3 tabs are sitting on the spine. Okay. All right, and then push it down. Okay. All right, so now we have our 3 tabs in the center ready to go. Now this is going to need to bend. So this is where we have the spine. I don't know if you can tell. I just want to make sure that this doesn't rip. So I'm going to use my bone folder here, and I'm going to trace along the bend. All right, just so when I bend this up, it doesn't fight me. And also you don't want this part coming up either. That would look really bad. I recommend putting washi here at the end. Washi gives a nice little pop of color. Okay, and then I'm going to bend this. And I'm just folding it, guys, where the spine is. It's nothing fancy. See what I mean? See how this came up? Okay, so I don't think I did as much over here. So I'm going to really reinforce that. Push this down. I might need to add some more glue, which is fine. I just want to make sure that I can open up this cover without this coming off, okay? All right, let's make sure that's secure here and secure here. All right, so this part definitely doesn't love me right here. That's fine, we can cover it. I'm also noticing my pencil mark from measuring it earlier. I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, so now we have the hinges attached. Let's reinforce the cover. Okay, so you have a choice here. I do have the correct measurements now. My pockets are 3 7/8 by 10, and you'll need 2 of them. So what I am going to do is attach these pockets as my first one. You do not need to do this step if this seems intimidating. Just stick with the 8 by 10, and that will go right on. Okay, so the correct measurements for the inserts. So these are going to be the pages that go inside the book here, okay? The correct measurement is 8.5 by 10. Now, you could make 3 of these and be done, but I want to make mine a little fancy. So I'm going to make 2 of these 8.5 by 10s, And then I'm going to make 2 4 3/16 by 10, 2 of these. All right, so these are the correct measurements. This centerpiece here, this is 8.5. I originally had this written down as 8 and it threw off all my measurements by 1/2 inch, but now it's good. You might also be noticing this is coming up right here. I will try to glue it down one more time, but I'm going to cover this with washi, so I'm not going to really let this bother me too much. Actually, I'm just, yeah, I guess I'll add some glue. But like I said, I'm going to cover this with washi. All right, let's get into this. So my plan is to use these 2 smaller pages and to connect them. So the opening, all right, I'm going to glue them here, and that way I could have these holding seed packets if I wanted to. All right, so what I'm going to do is glue this down. I'm going to cut off the top so it opens. I'm going to punch it so you can see that there's an opening. And that should do it. All right, so let's do this. So I am going to start by gluing. Let's see here. Goes to about here. So I'm just going to get glue right up to the top. Make sure to line this up and glue it down. Okay. I got a little bit of excess glue here. Whoop. All right, but you can see it went right up to the top here. It's glued down nicely, and so now I can glue down this next piece here. So I'm going to add my glue again. All right, push it down. I'm going to use my cloth just in case there's excess glue. All right, and you can see it's attached now. Same thing now with this piece. All right, so now we have our 2 flaps here. Now, if you wanted them to move on their own, you could remove this piece. You could snip this piece off right here. It doesn't bother me that they move together, so I'm going to leave it. All right, now I am going to snip off just the very edge of this. All right, so not sure guys if it would be better to do this by hand or to use my cutter. I don't feel like they're lining up the same way. let's do this. I'm only going to do one at a time. Okay. So you can see I did not take off much at all here. It's just so that this opens. That's all. All right, and then I'm only going to take off the smallest bit there. Okay. Ta-da. So now this is 4 3/16, which is almost 4 1/4, which means when I punch it, the halfway point will be almost 2 1/8. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to line it up almost 2 1/8 and punch. All right, and so I get this nice little tab right there. All right, and then again, almost 2 1/8 punch. Okay, and that was, sorry, I didn't even show you that. That was my envelope punch. It makes a nice little divot in there. If you have a circle punch, though, you could use a circle punch, and you just put it halfway down and punch. You could use your scissors. You do not have to have an envelope punch. All right, so there. Now I have my flaps with the openings here, and I want it to be big enough to hold like a seed packet, but I do like that the seed packet kind of sticks out right there, so you can see what you have. And so my last step for this is I'm just going to glue the sides closed. Okay, so we have our fancy seed pockets, and if you did not like that, skip that and just go straight forward with one of these, okay? And again, if you want these to be independent of each other, all you have to do is snip this middle piece out, which actually, I think I might, you guys. Let's do it. All right. This calls for my tiny scissors. All right, and I'm just going to go, yep, perfect. Okay, so there we go. And now they can move independent of each other, and I'll figure out how to clean that up. Maybe some washi. I don't know if you've noticed, washi is my solution to everything. Okay, so now I have these 8.5 by 10. They're scored at the 5 mark to fold them in half. They're going to go on like this, and the pocket is going to be up here. It's going to be quite deep. So I am going to envelope punch it here before I glue it in. Okay, so this is 5, so I'm going to envelope punch at 2.5. See? It's just a simple little touch you can make just to add more detail. You also could leave it and add tabs up at the top. I mean, this is just how I like how it looks. This is not this is what you must do. All right, so same thing that I did before. I'm going to glue one side and then the other, and then I will have my pages. And then, guys, the journal is done, and it's just time to embellish it. Oh, I should tell you. Okay, you don't have to glue this closed. You could do a magnet here and have this open up. You could do Velcro. So just so you know, it doesn't have to be this big deep pocket. You could make it something different. I am, however, going to make it a pocket. All right. So this is what we have so far. And now this big pocket, and then this last one. And again, you could leave this open. You could sew a signature onto this and make it a journal. You could have your pockets down here and then access it that way. Completely up to you. Okay, so once you have glued this down, your journal is done, and you now just need to embellish, which in my opinion is the most fun. So I will leave the camera rolling so you can see me embellishing, but just know this is just what I'm doing. This is my personal taste that I'm enjoying. And it's not what you have to do. You can be as creative as you want to be.